Hi. Today I'd like to talk to you about an interesting subject in the context of our one thing planning, and it is failure. How to be a perfect failure. Bill Harris at the Centrepoint Research Institute wrote this a few years ago, and like all great material, it's timeless. Many people believe that successful people, the high achievers, not only know where they're going, but also know exactly how they're going to get there. That when they begin a project, they know the straight line from here to the result. They seem to have the Midas touch. This belief, I think, is half true. High achievers certainly know where they're going, that is sure. I mean, we'll all agree that one of the first requirements for success is clarity and focus. You have to know where you want to go. Interestingly, studies have shown that only about 2% of the population actually have this clarity and focus in terms of having a purpose, having objectives, having a written plan, right down to things to do today to actually make it happen. About 2%. It's also interesting that somewhere around 2 or 3% own half the wealth of the planet. There may be a correlation there somewhere. My favourite quote, of course, is Napoleon Hill. He talks about a major definite purpose as being this sort of clarity and focus. And he found in his research that when somebody had this clarity, this major definite purpose, many of the other qualities necessary for success fell into place, sort of happened naturally. So focus, persistence, discipline, imagination, resilience, resistance to failure, the ability to bounce back, they happened almost automatically. So clarity is without doubt a key element of success. And my suggestion to everybody is that you write down your goal in such a way that a 12-year-old could read it and understand it without having to ask you for any additional information. However, where the common belief about success falls down is that while success people clearly have an end in mind, they typically do not know how they're going to get there. But what they do know is that if they start and they start moving forward, that the plan or the way to achieve the goal will become self-evident. So no matter how thin the resources are, they take action, they move forward, and they know that the method will appear. By taking action, the method will appear. In fact, I'd make the case that sometimes the only way to find out how to do something, how to achieve the goal, is in fact to start without knowing how to do it. We all know that waiting until everything is ready before we start is a sure recipe for disaster. It just never happens, you'll never get started. So, once you have the goal in mind, the secret is, and of course made it as specific as possible, the secret is to move into action. So, you take the goal, you articulate in a one-thing plan. Very simple, very straightforward, work in progress type of plan. And no matter how incomplete it is, or how bad it is, you start implementing it. And this is where failure comes in. Once you start implementing it, things happen. There's a great expression, military expression, that no plan survives engagement with the enemy. Well, that's very true. You implement the plan, and what happens? Well, success comes. How? The plan doesn't work. Let me explain what I mean. We all know the story about Thomas Edison when he was developing the light bulb. 10,000 experiments before he finally found that the tungsten filament was in fact the solution. And he was interviewed apparently by a journalist who said he must be feeling very bad about all these failures, and Edison says, no, he said, you misunderstand the way the world works. They weren't failures, they were me getting closer and closer to finding the answer to the way that worked. And this is the way successful people view failure. They view it as information, they view it as learning. They recognize that failure is feedback, that without it you cannot be successful. You must do, try, fail and learn. This is how you find, in fact, the path to success, the path to your goal. So, Bill Harris's little methodology I'm going to give it to you. Here was his 6 steps. He said, number 1, know where you are. So be clear where you're starting about what it is you're trying to accomplish. Where do you want to be? Number 2, where do you want to be? What's the goal? What are you trying to accomplish? And then here's interesting. He said, take action towards that end. Cobble together a plan. So get out the one thing planner, the template, cobble together a plan and move into action. Don't try to get the plan right. Move into action. And what will happen, of course? You'll have experiences, you'll learn, things will work, things won't work. Step 4, every week review it. Sit down, review, learn, see what happened, see what didn't happen. Step 5, readjust the plan in the context of that learning and keep going again and again. Step 6, repeat again and again and again. Just keep that cycle going. What happens to most people? They get to step number 4 and they give up. Tried, it didn't work. Yeah. Some brave souls may continue to step number 5 2 or 3 times, do step 4 or 5 2 or 3 times, and then they give up. The successful people recognize that failure is information. It's finding out, how can I do this? What way will work? And the way you find out is by trying out, by experimenting. High achievers don't feel disheartened. They expect to get feedback. They expect to learn. They expect it not to work. They know their plan is deficient. And they know that the only way they're going to improve their plan, find out the way that will work, is by trying out and failing. Remember Goethe's famous lines. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has beauty, power and magic in it. Only engage and then the mind grows heated. Begin and then the work's completed. Successful people fail much more often than unsuccessful people. In fact, they fail over and over again. That's where they gain the information, the knowledge, the experience, the wisdom that allows them to be successful, to achieve their goals and objectives. So here's a new way for you to look at failure. Look at it as information gathering. Look at it as something that you need to do as quickly as you possibly can to tweak and modify your one thing plan and to be the success that you want to be. So write your one thing plan and get busy failing. Thank you.